And this is Grim Patron from Oregon as well. That's Frothing Berserker and Unstable Ghoul.
Mech Mage is the only mage deck that beats both Paladin and Warrior.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Secret Paladin and Warrior.
Yeah, and here's the reason that Mech Mage can have that big swing versus Secret Paladin is Goblin Blast Mage.
Goblin Blast Mage.
They have so many mechs that can stick to the board very easily. You know, Paladin doesn't handle 2/3s very well in the early stages of the game. They don't handle Annoyatron super well. It's pretty easy to stick a mech to the board and then follow it with the Blast Mage. The Blast Mage can clear out Muster for battle, it can clear out all the rest of what's left, and you have a 5/4 afterwards. And again, True Silver Champion being removed from a lot of those decks can give you that final push. But against Warrior, Mech Mage presents a very different kind of threat, which is just overwhelming amounts of presence.
And Snow Chuggers.
Yeah, if say you happen to start freezing the Warrior, they don't have weapons to climb back into it.
Yeah.
And if you start to overwhelm them, the weapons can become a liability because they're taking all that damage.
Why hello? And Oregon decides to keep the Despite and the Unstable Ghoul plus Acolyte of Pain. So a lot of times against Mage, you want a hard mulligan for Fiery War Axe, but they realize that Despite should be enough, and they want to try and have high value creatures instead of trying to hard mulligan for Fire War Axe and getting something that's not good. So Patron Warrior actually does fight pretty well against Mech Mage because they're actually decent at sort of resetting the board once they've been overwhelmed.
It's pretty good draws from Washington State. It's going to be a matter of whether they can get past that Despite, though. That's really going to be the big factor here. They chose to go with the Mech Warper instead of the Snow Chugger. Either way, Oregon had the roadblock with the Unstable Ghoul, so I do like they went for the extra pressure, just because of the result of it. But I'm curious if the Snow Chugger might have been a little bit better just in the long term. Either way, they still end up with a great position. They have the Mech Warper in play, they have a Mana War in play, and they're going to have a Tinkertown Technician. All three of these are pretty high priority threats.
Yeah. Curious here.
I think I like using the Mech Warper because it's one of those minions that your opponent is so likely to attack.
Ping
oh,
Snow Chugger.
Really? This is super interesting to me.
I think you want to get the Snow Chugger out this turn, regardless, because that's why Despite comes out next turn. They're only going to attack. They're going to miss an attack with it, regardless, because if they attack the Mech Warper, they're frozen forever. If they attack the Snow Chugger, they're frozen for the next turn, which gives the Mech Mage, room to sort of overwhelm the board.
Yeah, maybe have that one extra push for damage. So that's where Oregon's headed. And they're even going to add the Armor Smith to board.
Made to fit.
So Washington State in kind of a tricky spot. They are going to need to answer that Armor Smith, I think. I mean, maybe they just continue the damage push. I think it might depend on the spare part, too. I mean, this could very easily change things.
Reversing switch. Armor plating doesn't do much.
Yep, I like the Whirling Blades regardless of whether or not you're going to take up the Armor Smith. But that's a big question, is do you chew through that right now or do you let it sit around? And I think I like the push a little bit more.
Go to the face.
We often see players take out those Armor Smiths in fear of what it can accomplish. But if the Warrior player doesn't have the right tools to couple with it, the Armor Smith just doesn't really do that much. And so because of that, force them to be the ones who are making the defensive plays. Don't make them yourself. Especially with a hand like this. If they choose to trade with this Armor Smith, and then Oregon has the right combination anyway, you're going to just fall behind, and then you missed all that extra damage. So I think I like them just being purely aggressive.
Yeah. The thing about Mech Mage is they can run out of steam. And Patron Warrior has a lot more early removal tools than Control Warrior usually has.
Now here's the thing, Disaster has kind of struck for Washington State at this point. I mean, Acolyte, Whirlwind, Inner Rage was about the best turn they could possibly have.
Into Battle Rage? Yes, please.
Frostbolt's no use this turn. That Unstable Portal is going to need to deliver right now.
Oh no! Goblet Scepter.
So Washington State may be forced into defense in this spot now. I certainly think shutting off Battle Rage is a good idea.
Also, I mean, you can Frostbolt face to keep pushing the damage, but it looks like they're just going to ping off the Armor Smith and try and get this going.
I really like using the Frostbolt, but at the same time, yeah, I think the ping is just better, like in terms of long-term value. I mean, you still have the Archmage in your hand, so maybe you can get to that spot and couple it with the pressure. You know, Patron isn't going to do the best job of pressuring unless it gets one of those big swing turns. They don't have those gigantic bursts from hand anymore. And since Oregon's had to use Inner Rage, they've had to use a Whirlwind, they don't have a Deathbite set, Washington State's not really worried about that combination right now. So I think they could potentially play the long game in a situation like this.
Yeah, a lot of cards off the top for Patron Warrior nowadays don't do much. Frothing Berserker off the top, not that great. Grim Patron, not that great. All the cards by themselves aren't really that good. That's why Patron Warriors nowadays have tried to shore up those weak spots with, you know, strong, like on-curve minions like Paladin Shredder, Sludge Belcher, Dr. Boom. Replace those charge effects and the more combo-oriented effects with those really crucial creatures.
See, Oregon even reluctant to use Execute this turn. They're just going to take the extra damage and rely on this Execute to buy them more tempo in the long term. They're trading life for that tempo right now. And I think this is a good decision because if you look at their hand, this is not a battle they're going to win if they choose to use all of their options right now and then fall behind on tempo. Now they're in a spot where the Execute could potentially buy them that little bit of extra time in that trade for life and hope that the Dr. Boom can be their big closing effect. I actually really like that they've done it this way.
Yeah, we'll see. Washington State's going to have this Archmage Antonitis go quite a long way. And
Goblin Sapper's a 6-2 now because they have so many cards in hand. I wonder if there's like a Goblin Sapper aggro deck that can use Cold Oracles or something.
TJ Warrior.
Purple's working on it right now.
No, I'm working on it right now. I'll be right back.
Well, TJ's checked out. I'm solo casting at this point. He's busy on his phone building this Goblin Sapper Cold Oracle deck to go 0-3 on ladder and then never play it again.
Dragon Egg. Rampage. Cruel Taskmaster. Cold Light Oracles.
Gonna be content with just trading here. And Clockwork Gnome to add to it. And again, looking forward to that big that big Archmage Antonitis turn. That's where Washington State's mind is at right now. But they're going to have to face down this Dr. Boom first.
Yeah.
Do they have enough time to fight through this?
I mean, do they just go for the Frostbolt to the face? Protect that Clockwork Gnome?
It is 2 extra points of damage right now.
Putting them at 10. And with 2, if they can find a drop to get them to that turn 9 and get 2 fireballs out of this, will Oregon even be able to stabilize?
Well, that's the thing, is once they Frostbolt to the face, I think the jig is kind of up for Washington State. And Oregon has to go look at their turns and go, do we need to armor up as much as we can right now? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, so they're going to play Cruel Taskmaster. And Washington State really wants to get 2 fireballs out of this Archmage Antonitis before it inevitably gets removed.
Yeah. Finicky Cloakfield would have been the best one there.
Whoa.
There's another fireball. I think you just fireball
the face.
Yeah.
Fireball ping the face. Put him at 5. Next turn you get 2 fireballs. They can't gain enough armor. They'll have 2 turns of armor, so they gain, what, 4 health total? No.
I think this Archmage I think it's a little bit too early right now. I mean, you need 2 fireballs from those armor platings, I think.
You do.
You
really do.
You have 18 points of damage in 3 turns. Can your opponent race that right now? You're at 30.
They can race it, though. You play Dr. Boom next turn, swing face with the Deathbite. All of a sudden, the Boombots go to face, plus the Frothing Berserker gets buffed up to 8 attack.
It's possible, but can Washington State take that risk right now? And I think the answer is no. They're going to take the aggressive stance, and Oregon is going to have to end this game in the next 2 turns. Dread Corsair added is a little bit extra pressure now.
I think they could do it. I think they can end the game in 2 turns. Dread Corsair, Dr. Boom, swing face.
I agree with you. I think that's the play.
Because that buffs the Frothing Berserker up to 9 attack. So you're doing 11 damage plus 4 damage, 15 plus the Boombot damage. You can do 20 plus damage this turn.
Yeah, you just got fireballed. Armor up isn't going to put you at a range of a second fireball right now.
This is almost lethal.
Frostbolt doesn't kill you in this spot.
Yeah.
You have to set up a lethal this turn. I mean, it's clear that Washington State is playing to end the game.
They killed you last turn if they had double fireball.
Right.
So unless they top deck another fireball.
And even if they top deck a fireball here, you're still dead to the armor up. Put them on the turn clock.
Yeah.
Put them to the test.
Frostbolt doesn't do it. You're right. Ooh.
Oregon's going to choose to armor up. And that may have spelled the end for them.
Actually, even just with Dr. Boom next turn, I think they do still have lethal. Depending on how much the Boombots hit for. Oh, no.
They're going to Despite right now. I mean, how does the damage still look at this point?
I think they still have it.
So they have 12 points of damage sitting on board right now, 14 with the cool Taskmaster.
They might be tempted to Frostbolt the...
They are not tempted to Frostbolt. Oh, they are going to Frostbolt. So Archmage is going to fall at this point, and now the armor up looks brilliant.
Yikes.
Wow, even Battle Rage.
I think Battle Rage is going to close out this game.
A 2, a 3. Wow, even Armor's fifth. That's that little bit of extra life I think they need. Either way, Washington State's got to draw damage at this point. They have to draw damage or the game has ended.
So this is going to put Oregon up to 10 health.
It's going to be Fireball. Frostbolt would work too,
would do it.
Do you ever trade in the Dread Corsair because of that?
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Keep the clock rolling.
Yeah.
They're down to 9. It's a 2-turn clock for Washington State at this point, but they're also racing against that armor total.
What is that, a Tinkertown? Is that what that was?
That looks like a Cogmaster. Probably the worst draw in the deck at the moment.
Yikes. Really wishing that they went with that double armor plane, but they would have died to the Fireworks. Battle Rage Fireworks.
Yep.
So I guess it was the right play. Just unfortunate, I suppose.
They have to play for damage.
Oh, what did they have Frostbolted face? That turn.
You're not stopping the Frothing Berserker is the problem.
Yeah, but they would have to have some way to. Oh, I guess it would. The minions would just trade. No, the minions couldn't trade in because that would have been more damage gone than.
You're dead to Whirlwind. You're dead to Inner Rage. You're dead to any single point of damage your opponent could deal. So
yeah.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for the Fireball here either. Oregon doesn't have the damage to end the game this turn. They have no way to extend their life total other than the armor up. This is Fireball or bust for Washington State.
Wow. How many cards do they have left in their deck? Over 15. This is not a very good chance. I think we're going to a game 5.
Well, you say that, but I can tell you there's one thing. It's all about nuance, precision. Whoa! That's Hearthstone.
That is Hearthstone. And they can't even kill their own piloted shredder. It wouldn't even matter.
Our third best of the 5, or sorry, the third best of 5 of the day. Going to 5 games. Oregon ties things up. And once again, the single game is going to determine who's moving on to 6-0.